Hi, this is Dr. Tony Cooper, and this is Life Without Baggage. In this podcast, I'll help you develop a stronger sense of self, develop firmer boundaries, and also learn how to lean into the gentle promptings of the Holy Spirit who can help you navigate life. My purpose is to help you get free from the emotional baggage that weighs you down so that you can be fully alive and engaged in life. My media includes audiobooks, self-help books, videos, and this podcast. Just a reminder before we get into today's episode that this is not a substitute for medication or counseling. If you're having thoughts of harming yourself or another person, or if this material triggers you, please contact your doctor or a mental health specialist to help you with your concerns. Here is a recent interview I did with Jean Destro from WAKR Radio, where we talk about some tips for healthy aging. So listen in. Many people in our age group, their parents are sometimes still alive or a close aunt or uncle, so they're involved somewhat in caretaking. They may also be helping out a lot with grandchildren or their adult children who maybe are divorced or are in some kind of trouble financially. So there's lots and lots of stresses that are coming from every angle as we age and we don't have the same level of energy. Also, it seems as though people's tolerance for stress goes down a little bit. It's like, you've already been through a lot when you get to, let's say, 60. You've already been through a lot. And so some of that kind of regrouping, resilience, it sort of can wear on you. So it's important that we know how to talk to ourselves in a positive way. It's important that we know how to take care of ourselves and respect our limits. And as much as you can, one of the biggest factors is social connection. So if you're single, if you're divorced, if you're widowed, it's going to be more work to find those social connections. But that is one of the main things that comes up over and over in the research, trying to be socially engaged and also getting some kind of physical activity, exercise. It's good for moods. It's good for physical health. It's good for mental health.
That's interesting. You made one point there that I thought we could go back to. You said when you get to be a certain age, you've kind of been there, done that, and maybe you're a little bit more frustrated. It kind of just hits you like, okay, I don't want to deal with this. I've been there. I've already had that. I don't see why I should deal with it again. But I was also thinking that as you get older, since you have been there and done that, that gives you more perspective. And maybe some people kind of, instead of getting more stressed, they just kind of get more mellow and sanguine about it.
All of that is possible. We do have more wisdom as we age if we're learning from our experiences. And the advantage of maybe being through a lot is you protect yourself a little bit faster. If you're making the same mistake and getting taken advantage of, and you're still making those same mistakes, it's time to set better boundaries because you only have so much energy, you only have so much affection, you only have so much time. So we need to be good, like stewards of what we have so that the years remaining, many people are living into their 90s. So you want to think marathon and you want to do what you can to maximize your physical health, to decide what kind of relationships you need at this time in your life and cultivate those. You may not need a lot of them if you're more of an introvert, which I am. A few close ones are good. If you're an extrovert, you're probably already out and belong to a bunch of clubs and always, busy and here and there. You probably don't even need this. But it can become more effort and relationships can change. Sometimes after, let's say there's a death in the family, someone you thought you were close to, you see how they react to the will and you find out, wow, we were never as close as I thought. This has always been about, this or that. And it can be shocking. There's bereavement of losing the people we love. There's a bereavement of seeing sometimes things in people we didn't know were there. So you want to make sure that you're processing whatever is happening. Talk to a friend. Women are pretty good about talking to a friend. Hey, what do you think about this or that? And they might say, well, you might be being too sensitive. Or they might say, you need to take care of that. You need to stop that. Don't do that. So friendships are important to get the reality check. If your hearing is changing, if your vision is changing, do what you need to so that you take care of those senses, because that interferes sometimes with people doing the things they love. And sometimes, Jean, also, like I've mentioned, I'm a pickleball player. A lot of the people I play with were super into tennis, very competitive. Well, your shoulder isn't going to allow you to do that, or different injuries. What you can do may change. So it's not that you give up everything, but you may need to adjust how you're getting exercise. How much time? Maybe I know when I was younger, I could be out doing something for 2 or 3 hours, really heavy, intensive exercise. It's like, that's not a good idea for me anymore. So I still might do something for an hour and a half, 2 hours, take a break. But I know if I don't stop pretty soon, I'm not going to be very happy tomorrow. And so we need to pace ourselves, be realistic. Life doesn't stop. So we have to be careful not to say, well, I'm too old for that, or it's too late for that, or I can't do that anymore. We want to adjust what we're saying and say, well, maybe I can't do that, but there's something like it I could do, or I could do it at a lower level of intensity. And if we adjust our expectations for what our bodies can handle, what our minds can handle, maybe I want to visit, but not as long as I used to because those kids are so loud. It's like you have to be realistic and then take care of yourself.
I can imagine that there's probably plenty of parents, and I've seen it in the, I forget who it was, Dear So and So columns, right? You see these. And a lot of times you hear from people who are like grandparents, and they have children that have these very high expectations of them taking care of their kids. And they keep trying to tell them, well, look, I'm 80 now. I can't really handle that for a long time, or I just can't do it at the level I used to. And then you get these people writing in saying, I just don't understand my mom. I don't see why she won't just do this for me. And so if it was a friend, you could tell the friend, look, I'm not gonna, and there's nothing you can do to make me. But if it's your kid, you try to set a boundary. It's a lot harder with somebody who is in your family.
Yeah, it's definitely harder. And again, I just encourage people, just be matter of fact. Don't get all emotional. You can complain later to your friends, but just be matter of fact and say, I would love to watch the kids on Tuesday and Thursday, but I do need to be finished at 5. And if they say, well, what about, well, wow, I don't know. I know it's going to be hard to find somebody, but I am available on Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 5. And you just be calm, matter of fact. Don't get all involved in, they're solving it for them. They're grown. They'll figure it out. But if you've spent your whole life doing everything for your kids, it's going to take a little while to teach them that Mama has some boundaries now. Thanks for listening. And if this helped you, share it with a friend. Talk to you next time.